Well, good morning, everyone. Hope you're having a great start to your day, and nice to have you on with us this morning as we do another live, and we'll continue on with Question and Answer Friday, even though it's Monday. And let me say hello to a dear friends that come on, if Mike and Brahim are 1 and 2. No! Andrea, you're number 1 today from Niagara Falls. Brahim, number 2. Lori Lee, Ventura, California. I'm telling you, I'm glad I didn't bet. Linda, St. Jude, Quebec. Karen, nice to have you on. Rosa. And Faye, how are you? And Nick from our staff, good morning. Fran from Orangeville. Jeanette, bonjour. And Donna, how are you? And Wendy from Markham. And Georgie, Halifax, Nova Scotia. Donna from Park Hill. And Faye, good morning. And Marlene. And Rita from New Brunswick. And April, good morning. And Bonnie, Little Britain. And Barbara, Nova Scotia. And Suzanne, good morning from Edmonton, bright and early. Leela from Verner. And Jeanette. And Chantal, Ottawa. And Yolande, bonjour. And Rhoda, nice to have you on. Kelly, good morning to you. Diane from Thunder Bay. And Sandy, Vancouver, Washington. Dave from Gilmore. Donna from Bell Valley. Kathy, Port Perry. Margie, Windy, Kansas. And Yvonne from Petawawa. Wanda from Virginia. As soon as I say your name, Wanda, Virginia. Carol. Doc McEwen, West Tennessee, good morning to you. Donna's. Bruno. Guylaine from Hearst, Ontario, bonjour. Linda, Sharon, Kansas. And Sandy from Chilliwack, British Columbia. Etta, and a couple of more guys, and we'll get going. Nina, Chatham, Kent. And Karen. And Sue from Bolton. And Milika from Stouffville. Sherry, I want to sing from Mississauga. Elaine, good morning. Okay, guys, let's get going. Thank you for coming on. All those that I didn't say hi to, I meant to, and we love you dearly. Rose from Peterborough. Okay, Shirley's asking a good question. Guys, all the questions are good, okay? Shirley's asking a good question. What is she asking? She is saying, can you explain why shredded cheese would be allowed on the reset when it has added ingredients? Okay, now Shirley, good question, okay? Now, again, it comes to my principles, okay? Let's talk about the reset first. What is the reset all about? The reset is to lower insulin resistance, okay? The problem, 93% of the population have it. What is their problem? They have trouble with food, and specifically with crappy carbohydrates. And because of that, they have developed a condition called insulin resistance. A fatty liver is part of the process. Okay? And when you have metabolic syndrome, you have a few of these. You have high triglycerides. You have low HDL. You have high A1C. Okay? I don't like blood sugar as much as an average blood sugar, which is A1C. Often high uric acid, high blood pressure. And these are, and belly fat. Okay, these are all symptoms or signs of metabolic syndrome. Okay, so why do I say that? Because when you do the reset, it's a 30-day program. It's not perfection. Okay, you guys know me. I say this all the time. When you're on the Titanic, because if you have metabolic syndrome, you're on the Titanic. You're in deep trouble. Some people have already hit the iceberg, but for those who haven't, you need to turn the ship around. And what I don't want you to do, okay, at first, I don't want you at first to worry about the deck chairs on the Titanic. Don't worry about rearranging them. Don't worry about the furniture. Okay? Don't worry about that. So what do I mean by that? Well, look, if you're on the Titanic, I want you to go no carb for 30 days. Okay? It's not perfect in the sense that, not everything is organic. Not everything is perfect in terms of food. But I promise you, and tens of thousands of people have done it. Tens of thousands of people did it before I wrote a book about it, Metabolic Reset. And tens of thousands, if not more, 20, 30,000 people have done it since. Okay? And the results are astounding because you are actually correcting a problem. You're correcting insulin resistance, high circulating insulin. You're fixing the liver. You're helping your brain. You're helping your heart. You're helping your blood pressure. You're helping your pancreas. It's taking a holiday. You're helping inflammation. Okay? All of these things which are really important to your health. Okay? So you're asking a good question. Why do I allow shredded cheese? Look, I know it ain't perfect, but it's still better than any sugar. It's still better than any crappy carbohydrate. It's better than that. And that's why I allow it, because I want you to succeed. Now, if you can find the best cheese, eat the best cheese. Okay? Eat the best cheese. I'm on your side. But you have to understand that when I was in practice, and even since then, in general, I talk in general to people. I want people to succeed, not to fail. If I make the rules so tough, it's tough enough getting off carbs. It's very difficult. If you're a carboholic, this is not easy at all, but it's worth it. And I don't want people to get stuck in the mud. I don't want people to give up because they can't have, like Dr. Martin says, I can eat bologna. You can. Is it the perfect meat? No. Is there better meats? For sure. Okay? And as you go down the road of good health, you can make very good changes. Okay? So that's the reason, Shirley, that I do what I do. There's a method to my madness. Okay? And I stick to that. Okay? I stick to that. Good question. Thank you very much. Margie, what are Dr. Martin's thoughts on valerian root and hops for sleep? I like it. I like it. You look at our cortisol formula. Valerian on its own, listen, you have to understand, I've been around the block for a long time and around the block for a lot of times, okay? Practice since 1974. 50 years, okay? And I like valerian root. I like hops. I don't like them on their own. I like combination of things. Okay? I'm a big guy on getting the best ingredients and putting them together. You know, I call them clinical formulas. Like my formula, cortisol, is a clinical formula. I measured cortisol. Somebody asked the question. Let's do it right now because I saw it. Nancy, or maybe I talked about this the other day. Maybe I didn't. I don't remember. What do you think of saliva testing for cortisol? I like it. I like urine testing for cortisol even better. But at the end of the day too, okay, just remember this. Anytime you're doing hormones, you take symptoms and you take saliva or urine test, okay? And remember what my thinking is. Symptoms are even more important than blood tests are, or your lab tests are. I'm not saying lab tests. I like lab tests. I really do. But I don't want to be a physician, or I didn't want to be a physician that relied only on the lab. You see, because medicine had got hijacked by the lab. Take, for example, the thyroid. You know how many millions of women have been misdiagnosed when it comes to their thyroid gland? Because doctors were relying on TSH or even a full panel of thyroid, and they often missed the symptom, you know, like, oh, doc, I got thinning hair, thinning eyebrows, I'm lethargic, I'm gaining weight. I just look at food and gain weight. And, I'm cold all the time or whatever. But my doctor said I'm normal because my blood work is normal. Nah. Okay. So whether you get a saliva test for cortisol or get a urine test for cortisol or get a blood test for cortisol, I want to know your symptoms too with all of that. Okay. I want to know those symptoms too. So it's a very good question, but just understand that I've been talking about that for a long, long time, Nancy. I want symptoms. Thyroid, send me your thyroid, okay? What's your TSH? I'm interested in that. And I have, because of my experience, I used to look at TSH and I found, okay, there was a certain number that almost invariably wasn't always true, but just about for sure, was if a TSH number was above a certain number, their thyroid was sluggish. Was it disease? No, sluggish. Anywho, I wrote about that in my new book, Sun, Steak, and Steel. Okay, thanks, Margie, for that question on valerian root. I like it. I like valerian. Always have. Alone, not so much. Okay, Jules. How to rebuild cartilage. Well, not easy, but you can, okay? If you want to rebuild cartilage, your body is fearfully and wonderfully made. It can rebuild cartilage. But to give it the best help, you need bone broth. Why do I say bone broth? Because it's the best protein in the world. Why? It has collagen. Collagen protein is like a glue. Okay? It's like a glue for your muscles, a glue for your skin, a glue for your tendons, a glue for your cartilage. It helps to rebuild it because of the look, what's the difference between just collagen protein and bone broth? Okay? Collagen protein, I like it. Collagen peptides, I like it. No problem. I like it. Okay? But what's better is bone broth protein. Why is that? Because it has that collagen peptides in it, but it also has electrolytes. Do I like electrolytes? You bet your boots I do. And nutrients. Like bone broth has like all your B vitamins, and like it has traces of it. It doesn't have, if you're looking for B12, for example, it's got a trace of that. Okay? And when you're 80% of the population is low in B12, well, I recommend a B12 supplement, a sublingual supplement. But anyway, that's a very good question. Thank you for that. That was Jules. Elizabeth. Oh, I answered your question the other day, Elizabeth, about the caution that you get on curcumin and on ubiquinol. And listen, Health Canada has very, very, very strict labeling rules. Okay? The FDA, they do have some labeling rules in the United States, but Health Canada is 10 times worse. Okay? And whether I agree with them or not, they're sort of the boss. Like, you just got to do what they tell you to do. And, they didn't consult me, and they should have. And when it comes to labeling, no, but seriously, they get extremely cautious. Okay, so they're more worried about whether you're on meds, because meds cause a lot of side effects, and they would rather you not take any supplements. The problem is most medication destroy your B12. They leave you, I'll give you an example. The most popular drug in the universe is a statin drug called Lipitor. When you take Lipitor, well, good for you. I'm not going to tell you I'll tell you, I don't necessarily like it because it's looking for love in all the wrong places. But, okay, that's between you and your doctor. Now, here's a 100% for sure. If you take a statin drug, you're going to be low on ubiquinol. You're going to be low on CoQ10. Okay? Ubiquinol is just a form of CoQ10, and it's the most bioavailable, the most absorbable. Okay? So if you're on a statin drug, your battery packs, your mitochondria, they're going to get damaged. Okay? It's funny. The heart is a muscle. It's got a lot of battery packs, and you take a medication, you're so worried about cholesterol, and you're not worried about your heart muscle. I just can't get over that. Okay? But Health Canada, they're not too worried about that. Okay? They're not too worried about that. But I am. So they're worried about you taking ubiquinol, CoQ10, when they shouldn't be, because they should actually recommend it. But they don't. But I do. Okay? I do. So it's the rules. We got to play by the rules. Okay? And I told you that, unfortunately, if Canada gets their way, they've sold their soul to Big Pharma. Health Canada has sold their soul to Big Pharma. And they want to get rid of supplements, as we know them. They really do. They want to make it so difficult to sell a supplement without a prescription. And remember, okay, I know for a fact, medical school, what do they learn about CoQ10? Nothing. What do they know about probiotics? Very little. What do they know about antioxidants like pine bark extract or whatever? Nothing. Are you going to get a physician generally? I told you this story before. It's a true story about omega-3. Now, everybody and their dog should be taking omega-3, in my opinion. Okay? And I used to teach courses so physicians could get their hours in every year for their continuing education. They brought me in because I was a comedian. No, but I went right at them. Like, put your hand up. These were cardiologists. Put your hand up if you believe in omega-3. Their hand would go up. By the way, you know more about omega-3 than they do, but that's all right. They still put their hand up. You know, one thing they agreed on is fish oil. Omega-3. Okay? They liked it. I said, okay, how many of you recommend omega-3 to your patients? And out of a couple of hundred, maybe one or two put their hand up, you know, and sheepishly too. Okay? I said, you're a bunch of hypocrites. You know it's good for the heart. You know it's good for the brain. You know it's good for inflammation. You know it's good for lubrication, and yet you don't recommend it to your patient, but you take it. And one physician got up and said, well, we're not supposed to recommend anything natural. It hasn't got the research. Ooh, do you think that Big Pharma, who does 90% of all research or 99% of all research, you think they're interested in omega-3? Well, they are if they can patent it. But you can't patent it. Now, I don't even know why I got on this subject. Okay. Oh, that was Elizabeth. The caution for taking, and I answered it the other day, but I had to go over it again. Okay. Thomas, is there any truth to the statement that you should not drink any fluids when eating because it disrupts the digestion process? No, that's not true. You know, because they tell you drink water and you're getting rid of your stomach acid. Nah, you're not doing that. Okay? You're not doing that. Now, you know, you're eating, so you don't need to drink as much. But you're not washing away your stomach acid. Like, you know, people have this idea. You drink water and it's like you're at a fire and you're pouring water on the fire. Okay? Nah, like water doesn't work like that, guys. When you drink water, it goes directly, almost in a straight line to your bloodstream. Only water does that. Now, I'm not telling you to drink 2 gallons of water with your food, okay? You know what the best drink with your food is? I'm waiting. Tell me what the best drink with your food is. Someone in our audience, because we got the smartest, what is the best thing you can drink with food? Waiting. Okay. Thea. Yep. Coffee. Wendy. Coffee. Rose. Coffee. Margaret. Coffee. Connie. Coffee. It's the best. Why? Let me tell you why. You guys all got it. Chantal, Norma, my audience. So you guys, Debbie. I'm going to give you an honorary PhD, Adeline. Gary, it's coffee. Have a coffee with your meal. Gina, why? Because and Gail, you guys, Karen. I'm laughing because you're too stinking smart. Paul, Sharon. Kathy. Well, Doug said water, but water's good, okay? It's number 2 on the hit parade, okay? Laurie, anyway, you guys got it, you got it. Smart, smart, smart. Now listen, I'll tell you why you want to drink coffee. Proven. Studies have shown this. Coffee acts just like metformin, which is a diabetic drug. to regulate blood sugar. So when you have a coffee with your meal, you're lowering your blood sugar response. Isn't that good news? Yeah. Okay. Thanks for the question, Thomas. Okay. Oh, how much I love you guys. You have no idea. Okay. Sue. Now, Sue, even before I answer this question, I want to tell you that when I read this thing, I got a massive migraine. Okay? The American Heart Association came out with a so-called study, okay, that intermittent fasting is linked to higher health risk and heart disease. I got a migraine, and a bad one, because it was a terrible study. Observational, you have to remember what you did, okay? And guys, it was, I mean, you could blow more holes in the study that the American Heart Association did than Swiss cheese on this study, guys. It was, look, you know what? I literally read it, got a migraine, and I said, you know what I love about my audience? They won't buy this for 1 second if they read about it. Oh, intermittent fasting is actually hard for your heart. How could it be hard for your heart? Okay? Now, I'm not telling people to go fast for 72 hours or whatever. I don't do that. Unless you get the diagnosis of cancer, go home and don't eat for a couple of days. Reset everything. Okay? But I'm big on intermittent fasting. Giving your body a chance. You know, it's only 14 hours. So if you eat you stop eating at 6 o'clock at night, and you go to 8 o'clock in the morning, you've done an intermittent fast. You're into 14 hours. And there's so many benefits to intermittent fasting. Okay? You're letting your autophagy help. You're letting your body detox. You're letting your liver have a break. You're just resting, okay, and digesting. Okay? So when I read the study, like I said, I got a migraine, then I said, nah, you know what? I don't even have to spend a lot of time debunking that. My audience won't believe it. You know what, guys? Here's what I always tell my patients, okay? I used to tell my patients and tell you, my audience. God gave you a brain. Use it. Like when someone tells you not that intermittent fasting is actually worse for your heart and heart disease, run, Forrest, run. It's crazy. Someone tells you, don't eat eggs. Eggs are bad. Well, we've been eating eggs since day one. Now they're bad. Nature's food. When I see a cow, you know what I think of? Steak. I thank the cow that they're the vegetarian and not me. Okay? I saw cows yesterday. I look at them, I go, thank you, cows. You're the vegetarian and I don't have to be. You eat grass and salad. I don't have to. Okay? You know, when someone, red meat causes cancer. Run. You just have to study biochemistry for a short period of time, and you just have to study the human body and study cancer cells, and they're ravenous. They love sugar. They don't love red meat. They hate red meat. They want sugar. They're teenagers. They're ravenous. Those are cancer cells. Okay? We've known that for a long time, but it gets put aside. Why is it being poo-pooed? Why? Because you have powers to be, guys. You have Big Pharma, knows nothing about food and could care less. And then you have Big Food, who know nothing about your health. And they could care less. Profit. They hired people from the tobacco industry to make you an addict. The tobacco industry lied under oath about addiction. They lied under oath. And the big food went and got them. All their scientists, and said, come and work for us. How do we hook people? Well, what about Cheerios? It has a heart on the box. Yeah, that's because you're going to have a heart attack if you eat them. That shows you how crazy the American Heart Association is. Because they put the heart on the box. Eat this and have a heart attack. Oh, okay, I know I get excited, but when you see intermittent fasting is linked to higher health risks, run, Forrest, run. Okay? Henna, how to quickly get ferritin leveled, okay? So, if you're French, ferritin is easy. Fire. Iron. Okay? Because people, what is ferritin, doc? Well, it's your iron levels. Okay? And how do I get that up? Well, first of all, you got to find out why they would be low. Okay? Could be bleeding. Could be bad periods. Bad menses. Could be internal bleeding. Could be, you gotta look at all these things. Could be a leukemia. You gotta look at all that. But generally, and a lot of women are low in iron, usually not men, but they can be. What do you want to do? Well, the best thing to do is eat steak. Because in steak, you get what kind of iron? Heme iron. So many women that I know, thousands and tens of thousands of women in my office, in my old days, they were chicken and salad eaters. They liked their salad. Remember I told you about the cow? The cow's to eat salad, not you. Okay? But that's what they liked because they bought this whole thing. Started in the 1980s, maybe even a little bit earlier. They bought the whole thing. Cholesterol, bad. Fat, bad. So they ate fat-free. They reduced the amount of steak they were eating or hamburger. And they went to chicken and salad. And they live on salad. Okay? Look. You're not a rabbit, nor a cow. Okay? Nor a cow. A cow needs 4 stomachs to break salad down. Okay? Guys, okay, don't come after me after the program and say, Dr. Martin hates salad. No, I don't hate it. Honest. I don't hate it. But I don't want you to live on it. because you're not meant to live on it. Okay? That's what I'm saying. Now, okay? Let me get back to, so ferritin, yeah, you can take a supplement of iron. I like a liquid iron to get the ferritin up. Okay? I like B12. You need both, by the way. Okay? Thank you very much. But always find out why. Okay? Now, let me get to another one here. I think we're done. Let me just make sure we're done. Yeah, I think we're done. Dr. Martin, what kind of J? This is from J. What kind of pine bark what kind of pine is pine bark? Well, it depends. I mean, you can get pine bark out of China. Extract. I don't like it. Look, I've had it all tested, guys. Okay, so what are we looking at? Okay, the highest form of OPCs, proanthocyanins. Navitol is made from the best pine bark in the world, okay? And that's the Pinus maritima, okay? It's the best. And it's not only that it's Pinus maritima, it's the way it's processed, the way it has to be made into pine bark. I went over to France, many moons ago. And I went to the plant where they make pine bark extract. I tell you guys, it was, first of all, pristine. If a tree is cut, they plant another one right away. And that process of taking the bark and turning it into an extract is done within 24 hours. And all of those processes are key. That's why Navitol is the best pine bark in the world. Okay? I wrote a book about it years ago. The Bark with the Bite. Okay? The Bark with the Bite. I wonder if I have a picture of that book somewhere. Okay. Thanks for all the questions, guys. We appreciate them big time. This week, okay, all in the morning, okay? You answered a question, okay? And most of you, and I mean it was a big majority, wanted morning sessions more than afternoons, okay? So, the only time I'll do an afternoon is if I can't make it in the morning, okay? But this week, all morning, Friday, even though it's going to be Good Friday, it will be question and answer Good Friday, okay? Okay, we love you guys. Now, did I tell you that before? I probably haven't, right? Or not lately? Not since Friday? Okay, we love you guys. We'll talk to you soon.